Hello traders, what's up? Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's having an amazing day and welcome to our video and our YouTube channel. So I hope everyone is comfortable and is ready for what we've got in store today. So in today's video, what we're going to be talking about is options scalping. So we're going to be doing a tutorial video for options beginners, right? Beginners that are getting into the day trading world of options, just the general world of options, and we're looking to scalp, right, some moves. So scalping is one of the day trading styles, I would say, and it has a lot of little nuances that we're going to cover today. So if you guys are excited for this video, get ready, right? Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that little bell to notify you when we go live. Now, there's another part that I want you guys to check out, and it's community.tradeproacademy.com, where we have our free Discord. You guys have seen it time and time again, and I want to invite every single one of you into that free Discord to check out our free community. So you can chat with us there. We can go back and forth, right? We can break down some options ideas, some futures ideas, whatever you guys want. So here's a little sneak peek of our room, our free room right here, right? We talk a lot about levels, ideas. Some of our members bank, right? So look at this. We got some good potential traders in there, right? We got a lot of good traders in there. We got a lot of newer traders in there, and I want to invite all of you guys. This is a platform for all, right? And here are some ideas for the week, right? We had some futures, we had some options ideas in there. We got it all. So go ahead to community.tradeproacademy.com and check out what we got going on there. So let's get ready for this video, right? Let's get ready for the intro, and we'll see you guys on the other side. So now that we've covered the intro, let's talk about scalping. So in front of me here on the screen, we've got a specific stock, right? We're going to be talking about options scalping, and for that we have to talk about stocks. We have to understand what stocks do. So first and foremost, what is scalping, right? Scalping is a super short-term options position, or just day trade position, where a trader will look for a very small, minute move, right, in a very quick amount of time. So it is one of the types of day trading, I would say, and I like to divide day trading into two different aspects. The day trade, which is a trade that you may hold for minutes, even hours, right, throughout the day, and the scalp. The scalp is a quick move where you're looking for maybe even seconds, maybe like probably around the minute, 2 minutes max, to get a quick move in your direction and then in and out. Now, the main difference between day trading and scalping, the way I like to see it in the options world and just in general in trading, but if we relate it back to the options world, is that in a day trade, right, I would prefer to take a 30, 20, 25% stop, right? No more than 30. Around 20 to 25% is the ideal stop that I take on a day trade, because I'm looking for a prolonged move throughout the day. Now, the target on that day trade is going to be around 30% to begin with, but ideally we're getting into the 50, 70% area of a return on our initial premium on a day trade. Now, if we compare this to the scalp, right, the scalp is much smaller. We're looking for these very little micro movements, and I am going to start off with a 10 to 15% profit target on the first move, right? Around 20 is ideal because we're using a much smaller stop. So if we compare the two, right, if we go, okay, day trading on this side and then scalping on this side, day trading, we have around a 20-25% stop, let's say. Scalping, we've got around 10, max 15% stop, right, on the premium position. Day trading, we're looking for at least 30% on the gain, right, so we can start scaling out and managing the risk. On the scalp side, we're looking for between 15 and 20-ish%, I would say, for a quick move. So there is a pretty big difference in that, because you're going to be in and out of moves. Now, in this beginner tutorial, I just want to break down what we look for in terms of a scalp and what we look to play in terms of the options chain for the scalp. So a scalp is typically a move in your direction very quickly. That's one of the ways that the only way that you're going to get a scalp, right? A scalp is not a patient trade per se. A scalp can be found on both pullbacks and breakouts. However, I prefer to look for the breakouts on the scalps, because a stock, when we move, especially an option, right, the way it works is a stock breaks out of a key area and momentum is gained very quickly in the direction of the move, right, whether it's up or down. Now, in turn, the option, right, is going to gain quick value the faster the stock actually moves. So the IV starts to increase and the Greeks start acting in favor of, right, the underlying here when you get a quick move. The faster the move is, right, the better it is for the scalp because it gains a lot more value that way, right? So you want a quick burst in your direction, and that is going to provide you with quicker gains faster, right? That is where the scalp comes into play, whether it's a news event, whatever it may be, right? Because when you are day trading, scalping or not, the idea is we are looking at a single week expiry. But what I mean by that is the same week expiry. So for example, today is Tuesday, right? Today is Tuesday, and if I wanted to scalp, or if I just day trade in general, I'm looking for this Friday's expiries. So if it's December 7th, right, I'm looking for the December 10th expiries. So the faster the move in our direction, the better it is for a scalp because it'll gain value much, much faster. So whatever you're doing, it's going to be, right, on a weekly if you're day trading an option, for example. Now, you can day trade the following week's options, right, giving you a little more time, and the scalps won't be as effective in that scenario because they're not going to gain as much value as the current weeks. Now, to add to that, right, the scalp is going to be, like I said, a momentum breakout play. So what we're doing is we have to be very quick on the trigger finger to potentially get in these moves, because if we want to do the breakout move, we have to understand where the tops of the area are, where the breakout stands, right, where the larger levels are and all that stuff. So before we dive into what options to choose and what chains to pick from and how to actually enter the scalp, I want to talk to you guys about the charts. So in front of me, we have a chart here. We have a 5-minute chart on Upstart, for example. So no matter what it is, right, as a beginner, I think everyone should go into the daily chart of a stock, right? So if we go into the daily chart here, what we can identify is very, very key significant breakout areas. Now, whether it's Upstart or we look at Apple, whatever it is, you're going to want to look at those breakout opportunities. So all-time highs, right? If we go down the list, right, all-time highs are going to be number one, I think, for me, like a key breakout area for a quick burst. Then number two, we've got just a major resistance that's been held time and time again, right? A few tests of a resistance. Number three, we have like a reversal play. So if a stock's been getting beaten down, we find an area where we can actually reverse price, right, from a prior lower high or whatever it may be. So for example, if we take Upstart here, right, let's draw some imagery and let's see. If we take Upstart, you can see, okay, well, we gapped lower and we have a resistance here, right? Well, price didn't really break that resistance, but if we get into this area ever, it's going to be great, right? We're going to look for that breakout. Now, we dropped down again and we found another resistance here that's been tested 1-2 times, right? Price has not yet gone into there, and you can see huge volume shelf. We've got the potential for the break, right? That's fine. Now, the next resistance is going to be here from this candle top that we made. So, okay, we'll use that one because this is the closest one that we've got. So on Upstart, obviously we have order flow to thank for this because this is what identified this potential move. So there's more to it than just this. But as a beginner, just identify where the key resistance points are going to be. So for example, with Upstart, right, this is going to be a little more difficult one. If we go to Apple, Apple's much, much easier because you can see, okay, on Apple, where is the all-time high, right? The all-time high today was right here. Let's see, what was the high? 170.30. So we pretty much got it, right? Through 170.30, we're going to be looking for that breakout, right? If we start like this and we're just looking for key resistances, then we can find better scalp plays. So let's say Apple, right? We found the all-time high. We've identified it. We go to a 5-minute chart now because we want these quick, minute moves. Now, some scalpers might even go to minute charts or 3-2 minutes, but I think even that's a little aggressive, right? It's a little much. But the idea here is what we're doing is we're waiting for the level to break, right? We want the level to break, and once it breaks, we're getting into this move. And you can see from the break 170.30, we get up to 170.80-ish, right? About a 50-cent move, let's call it. About a 50-cent move, and on that 50-cent move, right, there could be a pretty good potential in that jump. Right, so for example, if we go to Apple here, I'm just going to see what the contracts were worth, right? What we could play out of them, and see what's going on, right? So if we got that breakout and we're trading the weeklies, right, we could trade the 170s, we can trade the 172.50s because they're slightly out the money. We'll talk about option selection in just a bit here. But if we traded this breakout, this minute breakout, which happened at 9:45, what we're doing is we're catching a piece from 111 a contract to 140 a contract. So 140 divided by 111, right? We're catching a 26% move, which is much more than our scalp idea, right? Because we wanted only 15 to 20%. So this is great. Now what happens in this move is that we get a quick burst through that all-time high and we get volume. So this is going to be another important aspect that we need to see. Not only have we identified where the level is going to be, but the second piece of the information is how does volume look into the area. So you can see volume is very, very thick, very heavy into the area and holding out very well, right? Once we get the break, volume continues to rise and we can get that move, right? So it's the same thing with Upstart. So the key is here, as a beginner, identify an all-time high area, identify key resistance that's been tested time and time again, and you can identify a potential trade. So for example, even if you go intraday, but if you go daily, you'll find a much, much cleaner move, for example. So Upstart, we identified this area as a resistance, this blue line from the daily, and now we're on the 5-minute, 192.23. So 192.23, right? If we break out of it, we are looking for the scalp. So this move happens, right, at 10:20. So 10:20, and we're looking at the weeklies here. I'm just looking at it. Let's say we're going to trade like the 200 calls, for example. We could even go a little further out. So on the move at 10:20, right, these contracts cost about $8.90. And the run up into here, you guys won't believe it, it is $6.25. So 625 divided by, I think it was 390 I said, that's a 60% move. Now, naturally, if we're looking for a scalp, we want to get out around 15 to 20%, right? So what do we do with the rest of it? Now, scalps give you the opportunity to turn a scalp into an actual longer move or a day trade. And the key here is you take your profits at 20% and see if you can let the rest of it run with your stop at break even. So keep that in mind. So we've identified how to find a key area to break out of, right? Another example is if a stock is rotating time and time again, like our friend PayPal here, right? And it's holding a key resistance, we can find, okay, if it's testing 1, 2, 3, about 4 times around this 188.70, if we break out, great. Now we have another wick to break out of. If we break out a 190.60, great. And then tomorrow, maybe we break out a 193.15, right? So these key areas, especially if it's being tested time and time again, are going to be great. Now that we've identified how to find them, right, we should understand how to select the options. So like I said, right, there are a few key tips here. And why don't we write this down, right? So we want to trade weeklies, right, for scalps. So that means current week expiry, right? Now, another thing to remember when we're trading these options is that when we get to Friday, 0 days to expiry, right? These are the ideal scalps, right? This is when scalping is good because it teaches you risk management. So these are lottos. So typically people just lottery the trade and go like 100% like loss, 0 to hero type scenario. But if we're diligent, we can scalp these, right, with like 10, 15% losers and look for 10, 15, around 20% gainers. So we could do that, or we can go into next week. Now, another thing to note is, again, remember 10 to 15% stop, and 15% is just like the bigger end, right? It's ideally we don't get into the 15%, and then we're looking for around a 20% take profit, right? Next step is how do we select the actual option? We want OI, open interest, to be over 1,000 ideally, right? So we can get a very liquid contract, because scalping, right, if you're taking breakout trades and you're taking these momentum trades, the thing to understand is the spreads, right? If you're trading a stock with a big spread, it's going to hurt your scalp because, for example, let's say Upstart here. Upstart has around a 30-cent spread. So a 30-cent spread, if you're getting in at 440, right? So, sorry, let me just do this. So 30 cents divided by 440, that means the position is down about 7% right away the second you enter into the ask. So you could be getting stopped out at a larger loss, right? Because by the time it hits the ask again, that's maybe another 17%. And it's a 15% area, right? 15% loss just to get in and out pretty much instantaneously. So keep that in mind when you're scalping. You want to have spreads that are super tight, ideally around 5 cents or less, so you can get in and out, right? If you're not trading them at the bid, trying to get filled at the bid or under the bid, you have to understand that the spread is going to hurt you. So we want to see OI that's very heavy, right? Ideally around 1,000 or a very tight spread. Now next, we don't want to go too far out the money because these scalps are not going to move too much unless the option and the underlying move very heavily. So I'd still be looking for delta around 30%, right? A 0.3 delta around. So keep that in mind. So with these following rules, we can identify how to get in and out of the scalp, right? So I like to follow these rules generally for the scalp, right? And you can do pullbacks. I focus more on the breakouts for the scalp so we can get that just automatic right away movement. Now, there are other scalps that we had throughout the day, right? We had movers like Facebook, for example, right? Facebook broke out of this resistance and we got this quick little move. Nvidia, for example, right? If we look at Nvidia, the pre-market level was right here, right? This scalp turns into a very quick day trade. So that's the next thing we want to talk about. How can the scalp turn into a day trade? So the idea is, remember, if we're looking to take 20%, take profit, right away, let's say you have 5 contracts on, right? You take 5 contracts and you take half of them, right? Let's say you take 2 of them at 20%. What I'm going to do is the next 3, I'm going to move the stop to break even, right? So that way, no matter what happens, because it's a scalp, it can turn against you very quickly. We are out of the trade for a profit. Next thing I'm going to look for is 35% to 40% on the move, right? And then so on and so forth. I'll take 1 off here, and then I have 2 left. That means my stop now is at 10%, right? This is how you can turn a scalp into an actual day trade. Now, you don't want to widen the stop. You don't want to take more risk than you had originally anticipated. You know what your risk is. Your risk is 10 to 15% ideally, and the spread is going to adjust for that, right? You want to find a spread that is going to allow you to do that. So these scalps are very quick moves, and I know a lot of traders don't necessarily like trading these because they have to be very quick, right? You have to enter in really aggressively in the options position. Sometimes you might not get filled. So just keep that in mind when you are looking to scalp. It doesn't always have to be like that. You can learn how to day trade and take these smaller moves that have larger stops and wider potentials. So again, to reiterate, the scalp is going to be a very quick, minute move, and you can trade it on a 2-minute even, right? You can trade it on the intraday charts. And I want you guys to practice finding key resistances to break out of, whether they're reversals like we showed you, key resistances that have been hit multiple times, an all-time high break, whatever it is, practice finding those resistance breaks and looking for the scalps in those areas. Now, if you don't get filled on the scalp when you're trying to break out, don't chase the move. That's the worst thing that you can do, because then you're going to get filled in an inopportune area and maybe the position has already gone up 10% and you get filled. What's going to happen then? Then even if it blips down to where you were supposed to get filled, you're probably getting stopped out realistically. So just keep that in mind going forward. And the last thing that you guys need to know about the scalps is that don't necessarily fall in love and turn a scalp into a day trade or into a swing trade if the risk management criteria are not met, right? Don't widen stops and don't take more risk when you shouldn't have to. So I hope you really enjoyed this beginner scalping tutorial video. Let me know if you guys want some more of this stuff. If you guys have learned anything, if you guys have any specific questions, drop them down in the comments below. And we do this every day live in our live trading room for options. We don't necessarily only scalp, but I mainly look for day trades and help others find day trades together. So come check us out there. Check out TradeProAcademy.com, and in community.TradeProAcademy.com, you guys can find a free Discord chat where you guys can chat with us on a daily basis. So thank you all. Take care. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed, and we'll see you guys next time.